Merry Christmas, Internet! Fantastic Mr. S here again, and you're watching Dangerously Rockin' Reviews! So, a lot of people say that 2016 hasn't been a very good year. But you know what? I tend to disagree. I mean, it's been a pretty good year for music. And so, to wrap up this year of reviews, I think I'm good. Hello? What's this? From Shyloh White. I have a request for a song. It's fairly new. The Chainsmokers is Closer. I don't know if you may like it or not. Well, Shyloh, there's only one way to find out. Okay, we're off to a promising start here.
Hey, I was doing just fine before I met you. I drink too much and that's an issue.
And there goes all I promise. Are you sure you didn't want me to review that Nine Inch Nails song instead? Because it's not too late for me to switch songs.
Fine before I met you. I drink too much and that's an issue, but I'm okay.
You know, I could almost swear those lyrics and melodies were meant to be for the Florida-Georgia line.
I know it breaks your heart. Moved to the city in a broke down car and
Please don't go full-blown bro country. Please don't go full-blown bro country.
I can't stop.
Well, that took me by surprise. I mean, at first, you think it's gonna completely suck. Well, the lyrics still do, and we'll get to that later. Because the first bit definitely has that bro country vibe to it, but with electronic sounds and without that southern twang. But when it gets to the second verse, that's when the vibe starts to melt away. I don't know, perhaps it has something to do with Halsey's vocal appearance.
Look as good as the day I met you. I forget just why I left you.
Oh, great, more R&B vocalizations, because we need more of those. To be fair though, Halsey does try to tone it down so that she can let some of her own character shine through.
I know it breaks your heart. Moved to the city in a broke down car.
Or what little character she has. And she and whichever of the Chainsmokers is singing have some believable chemistry. But just remember that this is a romance song we're talking about here, and an EDM romance song at that, with some autotune thrown in here and there. And yes, the electronic assets are still hard for me to get through. To the song's credit though, there is some creativity with it here and there, and they also mix it in with some real piano in places. It's been done several times in the past few years, but it's still nice to hear.
That tattoo on your shoulder, pull the sheets right off the corner.
Oh, and did I say I'd talk about the lyrics? Well, yeah, like I said earlier, they're pretty bad. I mean, it's the typical getting back together / in the moment romance song. You've all heard this before, people. It's nothing really all that interesting. And the melody fits the song all too well. Look, I know it's becoming increasingly difficult to make love songs sound fresh and original, but it can still be done. It could be like that Matchbox 20 song 3 AM where you got to know more about the relationship between the singer and his lover, and the turmoil they were going through. That would have been far more interesting than
So baby, pull me closer in the backseat of your Rover.
this. Yeah, even the director of the lyric video knows how sappy the whole thing is. Just listen to how he talks at the end.
Are you kidding me? Are you getting this? Look at this. Never getting cut. That's what happens when you work with couples. Oh my god!
I can only imagine what he'd be thinking if he had to work on that Blurred Lines music video. But as shallow as the subject matter is, at least there's nothing insulting about these lyrics. And what sets this one apart isn't just the duet between the Chainsmokers and Halsey, but also the pacing. It's off to a mediocre start, but when Halsey and one of the Chainsmokers start duetting, that's when it gains some traction. Some traction. I've noticed that Closer has got a ton of song cliches that I normally can't stand, like the sappy romantic tones, those electronic assets, some indie pop vowel chants, some R&B vocalizations, autotune, even some bro country elements. How the hell did they manage that? But surprisingly, they've all been downplayed big time. And again, the vocal duet and and the song's pacing help to make it bearable. It's still nowhere near as interesting as something like Selfie, another song of theirs, but you can tell that they were at least trying to make something decent. And you know what? If I had to make a song like Closer, this is probably what I would turn out. Except I would try to make the lyrics more interesting and get rid of the autotune. We're still living in a decade where music's quality has reached its lowest point, although Disturbia was the only song that dared to go one lower. But I think it's slowly pulling itself out of the darkness and regaining its former dignity. It's still not as good as I'd like it to be, but it's getting there, it's getting there. And Closer is definitely one of those songs that are a step in the right direction. Yeah, it's sappy and generic and full of those awful song tropes, but to me, it's one of them sappy, generic, awful song trope filled songs done right. And now you know what I think of the song, Shyloh. Epic average.
Epic average.
I'm the fantastic Mr. S, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Christmas and a dangerously rockin' New Year!
That's what happens when you work with couples. Oh my gosh!